CJ the Painkiller.
Kevin Jackson.
So we need to start acting like a big boy football. It's time for the jet tax to die.
You're listening to Weapons Hot on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Darnold fires one into the end zone. It is caught. That's a Jet touchdown.
And now here is your host, CJ the Painkiller, D. Simone, and Kevin Jackson.
What's going on, Jet fans? Welcome to another edition of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, Snowman Digital Media, and quite frankly, any place where you can get your New York Jets fix. My name is CJ the Painkiller D. Simone, and let me introduce you to the rest of my squadron. Kicking it off on the left side. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Kevin Jackson!
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
So, well, you know, about time that the audio player actually worked. So, Jax, what's going on, man?
Yo, another episode of Weapons Hot, the three bad brothers you know so well, you know what I'm saying? Here we are. First and foremost, cheers. Silly season is coming to an end very shortly, hopefully. I'm sick. We talked about this earlier. I'm so sick of the nonsense. Let's go ahead and let's discuss something factual tonight. How about that?
Numbers, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have some good numbers that we need to talk about. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's also time to introduce us to our other member of the squadron on the right side. Ladies and gentlemen, reporting live from One Jets Drive, most importantly, inside of Joe Douglas's office. Put your hands together for Jimmy, the Reaper, Jardine!
All we are is entertainment, caught up in our own arrangement. Tell us what to say and what to do.
Reaper, what's going on, brother, man? Listen, I heard you got some 2-for-1 specials going on there. I heard like Douglas has got you like scrubbing toilets and you know cleaning out closets and stuff like that. What's up with that, yo?
Well, they won't let me in the building. We still got the COVID stuff going on, but I told them it's no problem. I can do their job from the pond.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay. But yeah, if the Jets want me to scrub toilets, brother, I'm there. Let's go. They get me in that door. But
all right.
Anyway, really good show tonight. We're gonna talk about some good stuff. I can't wait. Like I'm a numbers guy anyway. I can't wait to dive into this stuff and.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully, please, God, just listen to what we're trying to tell you, Jets fans, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of numbers, the title of tonight's episode is actually QB or not QB. And basically, the reason why I came up with that kind of title is because the New York Jets, as always, now we are, again, starting the hole. We need to look for a quarterback. There is a faction of the fan base that would like the Jets to stick with Sam Darnold, which is completely understandable. I don't think it's irrational at all. But, you know, tonight, after everything that we present to you, I think all of us here, at least on this panel, we're all going to give you our opinion why I think it is time to move on from Sam Darnold as the quarterback of the New York Jets. Now, this is not something that we haven't discussed recently. This has been something that we've kind of been banging on this drum from like week 10 of this past season. And you know what? You know, myself included, I've been a big Sam Darnold fan. I've gone out there and I've put stats out there. I've had arguments with other fans and so on, trying to, you know, to keep positive about Sam Darnold. About the fact that, let's face it, from the time this kid was drafted, the organization completely failed him. They did not provide him with good enough coaching. They did not provide him with a good offensive line, even a serviceable offensive line. You know, skilled position players were mediocre at best. So, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, when you ask this kid to come in and to ask this kid to pull a rabbit out of his hat, so to speak, and he really can't do it, after year 3, regardless of who you have in the headset, and I've said this for weeks on, and both Kevin and Jimmy can agree with me, is that you have to be able to absorb some sort of knowledge about defenses, reading, defenses, and so on and so forth. Lowell Litchmore, shout out to him jumping into the chats with Tom Jack and some yak. So yeah, pretty much, a little of this, a little of that. But, I digress. So really quick, I want to go around the room. Jimmy, we're going to start this week with you. Kind of change this up a little bit. Talk to me on your thoughts on Sam Darnold, and then we'll swing around to Jax. And then I want to go through some interesting stats that I pulled up on Darnold and why, I'm going to make the case as to why that regardless of whatever the Jets get for him, it's going to be like found money on the floor.
Oh, yeah, totally. The biggest thing is the Darnold's age holds value. And we're going to talk about some offers that we've received recently for him, and I think it still holds the number one value. And it holds a mid-first round number one type of value at this point. So the baseline is being set currently. My issue with Sam Darnold is the same issues that I've spoken about at length. He's got the same footwork issues that he's had since college, where he had good coaching. He stares down his routes. He throws with his feet parallel to his shoulders. He doesn't step into or drive his throws, and he throws this way 70% of the time if you look at the tape. And it causes him to sail intermediate throws. It causes him to underthrow deep passes. And it's just something that, I mean, even if Sam Darnold is the only one in the quarterback room, you still have to see that tape, and you still have to see, oh, well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I need to focus on. And it's just not happened in 3 years. Now, my issue doesn't come from, there are contract concerns moving forward on Sam, but my issue with keeping Sam Darnold for one more year, as all these fans keep saying, what if it fails again? If it fails again, you put the Jets franchise back another 3 to 5 years. That's half a decade. And the 2022 quarterback class coming out of college looks really light. It doesn't look very stout as far as talent. We will be a better team this year because of an improved roster, because of an improved line. Sam would win a few games. But aren't we tired of 4-12, 5-11, 7-9, 2-14? Aren't we tired of that? Is it too much to ask to want to be 11-5, 12-4? I don't think it is. And currently, Sam's not the guy to get us there. If he fails again, Zach Wilson is gone. The slim possibility of Trevor Lawrence is gone. Deshaun Watson possibilities are gone. Justin Fields is gone. Hell, Trey Lance is gone. And I'm not a Trey Lance advocate. But all of that is gone if we roll one more year. We said, let's roll one more year in 2017. We have Josh McCown and Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty. Let's roll one more year. When Deshaun Watson's sitting there in the draft, Patrick Mahomes sitting there in the draft, and we're like, nah, we don't need that. I am so tired of the New York Jets organization accepting good enough at the most important position in all of sports. I'm tired of accepting mediocrity. I'm tired of accepting average. There's no reason that we shouldn't have elite quarterback talent right now. And that's my thoughts on it. I got more, but I want to hear what Kevin has to say.
Yeah, this is going to be really simple for me. Sam Darnold is a quarterback in 2021? No. Jim, you touched upon so many things, Jim, and this isn't this. It's not like we haven't had this conversation. It's not like we haven't been having this conversation ad nauseum. And my thought process on this has not, nor will it change. I love Sam Darnold as a player, as a guy on the team, as a as a young quarterback with promise. He's just not good enough for what it is that we are doing in this time. I've stated this repeatedly, and I'll reiterate it once again because I know I don't want to, completely just kick this one off. But I believe Sam Darnold has the potential to be, a decent to maybe an upper echelon quarterback in this league. He's just not ready to do it now, and we cannot afford to give him the opportunity to do it here.
Correct.
We just cannot. And again, I wish him nothing but the best. I was kind of hoping that, when Joe Douglas was handing out all them golden parachutes earlier on in the season, that one was packed specially for Sam. Send him to a contender with a quality veteran quarterback, so he can sit behind that veteran quarterback and work out the kinks, learn how it's done. Because the coach who I refuse to name, did him no justice. They did look. I don't want this to end up being a long, drawn out kind of a thing, but it also begs to question what it is that we have as far as the 4th round quarterback that we drafted last season, because he couldn't have been getting coaching. He couldn't have been getting any type of coaching if the starter wasn't getting coached.
Bingo.
And he wasn't, and he wasn't getting coached. It was obvious. There was no coaching being done there. There was a whole bunch of that again. It's the problem. We have been pissed off because Sam Darnold has gone through how many coordinators and how many offenses and how many years, but then have to be clear about the fact that he really wasn't getting anything. He wasn't being taught. He wasn't being trained. He wasn't being, given confidence. He was given, he was sold the bill of goods by a coach who says he was a guru who should never grace the sideline of a football team again unless it's the Cal Poly Broncos 8 and 9 year olds. You know what I'm saying? No.
I wouldn't trust him.
Would you really trust him with in the hands of children? Come on now.
Would I even want him around them? Because then he's teaching them characteristics of selfishness, of arrogance, and of being able to say that you're riding the coattails of Peyton Manning, who probably taught you more about film than you've taught any quarterback ever since then. So I'm sick of that guy, man. You don't even know. And I'm thankful that we moved on, because the fact of the matter is that if we had not moved on, Jim, you said it so eloquently. How many 5 years, 6 years, another decade before we get it right? We've been seeing in Twitter how we should just trade back and not draft a quarterback and keep Sam, because franchise quarterbacks grow on trees apparently now, guys. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that since the last show that we did last week, but now franchise quarterbacks, there's 5 or 6 of them every draft. We can go ahead and we can wait. How many years? And there'll be another one. No, there won't. That's idiotic.
Yeah.
Again, another unfortunate side effect of hunger. I need somebody to get these dudes a sandwich and a bag of chips and a beer. Yeah, remember that commercial? Get this guy a burger. You remember that commercial?
Yep.
Kevin, I don't have a mic, but I got this highlighter.
I'm so sick, man. Look, I'm so thankful. Silly season is on its way out the door, because honestly, we do mature football here. I mean, yeah, we might joke and we might crack jokes or what have you. We might try to have fun while we're doing this, but all of that's immature. That's stupid. That's trash. That's clickbait stuff. Can we move on now? Look, again, I like Sam. Sam's not the quarterback for us, and he shouldn't be. And I'll wrap it up by saying this: if Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the New York Jets 2021, that's the worst case scenario.
We win 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out, and I said I had some stats, and I just want to kind of set the picture for everybody. 2018, which was Sam Darnold's rookie year, he had a completion percentage of 57.7%. He threw for 2,865 yards, 17 touchdowns on that year. He completed 239 passes out of 414 thrown for the entire season. But here's the thing. Okay, he only started 13 games. Okay, so that was the first off. Now 2019, okay, which arguably you could say was probably Sam Darnold's best career season as a New York Jet. Okay, he started, again, 13 games, 273 completions out of 441 attempts, which leaves him at a 61.9% completion percentage. He threw for 3,024 yards with 19 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. The year before, he had 15 interceptions. So he actually dropped 2. But here's the thing. His interception percentage went down marginal points. Meanwhile, his average yards still stayed the same at 6.9 yards. Now, here's the problem with that. If Sam Darnold was throwing last year, all right, so actually let me set the stage. All right, 2020, which was this season we just passed, okay? Again, started 12 games. Okay, so one less game than he did the previous 2 years. Okay, he had 217 completions on 364 attempts for a 59.6% completion percentage. Threw for 2,208 yards with 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Arguably, probably the worst stats that you could have under any offensive system. Here's the point with Sam Darnold. Now look, I defended this kid. I went on an entire opening monologue about how I defended this kid, and I took all the slings and all the arrows.
It was epic, too. It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful thing.
Okay? Now, well, thank you, Kevin. But here's the point now. By week 10, even prior to the Monday Night Football game, the 33-0 ass-kicking that we took at the hands of the New England Patriots, which is now labeled as the IC Ghost game, okay? There are no excuses that can be had for this kid. None. Dude, this kid is fresh out of excuses. Okay, he's done. That's it. Now, I've said it before. It doesn't matter who's in the ear. It could be Adam Gase. It could be Darryl Loggins. It could be Mr. Magoo. It could be Farmer Fran. All right, it could be Bobby Boucher talking to you inside that headset. You need to be able to figure out how to at least read defenses to a certain extent and be able to not turn the ball over. And the biggest problem is that Sam could not figure this out. And he can't. So now I've given you guys the pieces for himself. He has not done enough consistently to warrant taking another chance on him in this rebuild. Because we're basically rebuilding the rebuild. Right now the Jets have a blank surface. Okay, they have a blank canvas. Brand new head coach, brand new offensive system, brand new everything. All right, as a matter of fact, in the upcoming In the Spotlight segment, I'm super excited for who Kevin Jackson has going to be featured in that segment. So I want you guys to stay tuned because it's going to be fun. We could blame so many different things. We could blame the offensive line. We could blame skill position players. We could blame the lack of running game. Okay, we could blame the play calling. There are so many different things that we can blame. But Sam Darnold is still at the center of all of that. Because at the end of the day, the guy who's on the center, he's got to be your playmaker. He's got to be the guy to point guys in other directions. Okay? And don't tell me, oh, well, he's throwing to Braxton Berrios and he's throwing to Vincent Smith. Okay? Or he's throwing to Jeff Smith. Because, again, there's only so much that your skill position players can be blamed. Eventually, it's all going to come back to everybody. The entire 2020 New York Jets team was just a complete and utter black hole. And we knew it was going to explode. So now it's done. So why are we going to try to save one of the pieces that was responsible for contributing to the black hole? Why are we going to bring him back to screw this up again? Now, some people out there who may say, well, that's not fair to put it at his feet. You know, he's had sloppy coaching. We get all of that. We get it. But you know what? Numbers don't lie, people. If Sam Darnold was throwing for 3,500 yards, 3,800 yards, maybe 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on a consistent basis, despite having despite having a crappy offensive line, despite having crappy skill position players, despite not having the benefit of a run game, despite having the disadvantage of having a complete moron for a head coach and offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Wow. Okay?
There was no quarterbacks coach last year.
Right.
There was a challenge flag thrower.
Right. So here's the thing. If Sam Darnold is throwing for 3,800 yards consistently, and he's, basically making chicken salad out of chicken poop, then guess what? Then it makes sense because you actually have somebody there to build around. You have a cog in which to build around. Sam Darnold is not that cog to build around. He's not.
He's a good kid, man. He's a good kid.
I think the problem was in 2018. I think the Darnold pick was. I think that came directly from the Johnsons because I don't think Mike McCagnon had the sack to actually tell him, or the intelligence for that matter, in a draft to tell him no, and he wants this guy or that guy. So I think that came directly from the Johnsons. Todd Bowles was on his way out, and the Johnsons, I would be willing to put a year's salary on it that the Johnsons came to Todd Bowles and said, you're going to put in our flashy new draft pick because we're going to put butts in the seat. Yeah.
No, well, you want to know something else too? Here is the other epic failure. It's not just putting in the shiny new draft pick, Jimmy. You know what it also is too? You had an offensive coordinator who spent the previous 5 years in the mountains who should have never came down from the mountains, in my opinion. We had an offensive coordinator the year before in which Josh McCown, a journeyman quarterback, basically had career numbers.
Yep.
Okay? But Todd Bowles needed someone to blame everything on to save his ass when it didn't deserve to get saved. John Morton coaching Sam Darnold. Now, these are all the what-ifs. We probably would be having a completely different conversation right now. But we're not, because we don't have that benefit. So you know what? It's time for us to cut the cord, for everybody to stop whining about give Sam a chance, give Sam this, give Sam that. Sam's going to be lucky, in my opinion, if he's going to not end up being a career backup. Okay? And the thing is that it's on the kid. It's not just on the coaching, it's on the kid as well. Because if you can't comprehend what is going on, if you can't read defenses properly, if you can't stop throwing interceptions, if you can't stop hanging on to the ball too long, guess what? That's not a skill position problem. That's not a running game problem. That's not an offensive line problem. That's a you problem. Okay? The more that we continue to keep traveling down this road, the more we continue to run over the same speed humps. We see the same things day in and day out.
We had a quarterback here a few years ago, guys, who exhibited some of the same behaviors. And I don't recall the echo chamber banging drums and screaming into the void how much it is that we wanted to bring him back. A young quarterback, one that we drafted early, one who had an extremely prolific college career, who broke records in college and literally lit up the scoreboards and was in the conversation for the Heisman, the whole thing. But after a few years of, subpar play, the fan base has had enough.
Right.
Now, the difference is we like this kid and we didn't like that kid per se, but this kid has similar stats, similar difficulties with functioning and being able to show his ability to be functional at that position. And we still got guys out there who are bending over backwards talking about we need to give the kid a shot because he didn't have a supporting cast, he didn't have offensive line, we didn't even have any of those things. The last guy didn't have really many of those things either. And we were screaming, couldn't wait to get rid of him. Called him names and everything else. I'm not gonna throw his name out there. You guys know who I'm talking about. But the fact of the matter is that we have a quarterback right now, and the only difference is that we like him as a person. The traits, the difficulties in the play of the game and the flow of the game, and not being able to get himself together and win in situations when maybe even if the team isn't as good, you should still be able to make some things happen. They're both like almost mirror images to a certain extent. Almost.
Right.
right? But we want to keep this kid because he had bad coaches. We had bad offensive line. Didn't have weapons. Neither did the other one. This is the Jets. We haven't had any of that. We haven't had any of that in 10 years. None of it.
Right. And this is the reason why we need to stop having this conversation, because this is a no-brainer. If you're a New York Jets fan right now and you're seriously thinking that Sam Darnold can be salvaged, that if you put Michael LaFleur in here, that he can magically all of a sudden be fixed, it's not going to happen. Okay? Sam Darnold needs to get out of New York. That would probably be the best thing for him. He needs to change the scenery, to go to a different system which fits his skill set, and let him see what he can do there. Okay?
Speaking of which, CJ, real quick, can I just go ahead and say and tell Mark Sanchez to kiss my you know what?
Please.
With that take. Okay?
You can tell him to kiss your ass. It's okay.
Kiss my ass, Mark Sanchez. It's now Jets fans' fault that Sam Darnold has failed. It's the Jets fans' fault because we are such a mean group of people and we hold people accountable so much. Good Lord, if that isn't a Generation Z mindset. What even is that? What is that? Sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, look, I'm done on my Sam Darnold rant. We need to move on. If the Redskins are going to come and they're going to give us the 12th pick or the 14th overall pick for Sam Darnold, dude, sign me up. Okay?
Yeah,
done. So whatever team is going to come and call in for Sam Darnold, give me your best package, and he's out. Done.
Quickly.
Now, all right, another thing that I want to do is I also want to switch gears a little bit. I know that we're starting to come up against it, but I'm very curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this past Wednesday's presser between Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh as they address the media. We're going to go in a different order this time. Jax, we're going to have you start with your thoughts. Jimmy, finish up your thoughts, and then I'll take us into the break.
Yeah, what a breath of fresh air to have competent leadership, right, guys? I mean, just more than anything, I'll begin there. We saw what I guess mature, responses to, I guess, what amounted to be really good questions. I have to be honest with you. As much as I get on the Jets beat, there were some pretty, solid questions asked. I think these guys they've been on their game in these press conferences, even going back to when he who should not have been coach was here and taking those questions. So, look, Joe Douglas again, and we've beat this up and we've said it a million times. Even though he hasn't necessarily done enough to qualify that we give him 100% trust, I kind of feel confident in giving him some trust. Let's wait and see what he does, because he's shown historically, I guess, that it's not going to be it's not going to be knee jerk. It's not going to be stupidity. It's not going to be any of those things. It's going to be focused, intelligent. And today he even spoke to analytics. Analytically, kind of pressure football. So I'm really excited about that. Robert Saleh as well. Robert Saleh, I mean, didn't get as many questions because I think the Sam questions kind of dominated, and there were some really good questions about how Joe is going to see what it looks like to build this organization. His response about building through the draft is obviously exactly what it is that we want to hear. I think it was a diplomatic response to not just wanting to say, if Deshaun Watson is available, I'm telling you right now, we're going to get Deshaun Watson.
Can't though.
Yeah, exactly. And that was getting ready to say that because
Sorry.
We saw what maturity looks like in that position. We saw what it looks like to have a grown up in the room, and actually we had two grown ups in the room in particular in this case, and going back to decade when we actually had relevant football being played here. It's the first time that we've had that since then. And I mean, I'll just be honest that sometimes even Rexy wasn't the most mature guy, but I love Rex and he put it in for us. So I'm going to give Rex his props and then I'm gonna wrap this up. But it was a really solid press conference for me. It answered a lot of questions. It didn't answer all of the questions because I don't think those questions really could be answered. But for what it's worth, it just solidified again that I'm going to sit back. I'm going to relax. I'm really comfortable with letting it play out. Period.
This is what Joe D is doing right now.
Right? Literally.
100%.
All right, Jimmy, take it away.
And that's the thing. And real quick, the biggest shout out to Michael Lagares in the chat. The biggest takeaway I will answer the phone on Sam. 100%, my friend. 100%. Because in October of 2019, as was pointed out, but I forgot who asked. And if you want, I actually did a full reaction video on my YouTube channel at Jets by Jimmy on YouTube. I did a full reaction video of the press conference as it was happening, and I did my own thoughts on it during. But the one thing I said was, in October of 2019, Joe Douglas out and out said, Sam Darnold is untouchable. He is our guy. And then on March 3rd, Joe Douglas said, I'm going to answer the phone. If that Shannon Sharp said it on his show with Skip Bayless a couple days ago. He's like, if that doesn't tell you that the Jets are moving on, nothing else will. And so, I mean, I think that statement, more of what he didn't say.
Exactly.
I think that was the nail in the coffin for the Keep Sam crowd. But the press conference was great. Yeah, the press conference was great. Joe Douglas, like you said, Kevin, Joe Douglas can't say, hey, I'm willing to trade some draft picks for a free agent quarterback. He can't. That devalues our quarterback for a potential trade. It breaks some NFL bylaws because everybody knows what you're talking about. Everybody knows Deshaun Watson is the guy in that conversation. So overall, I think Robert Saleh actually got passed over quite a bit. I would be more concerned. Yeah. Like if I was a reporter, I would have wanted to know where we were coaching wise. Not like there's a lot of drama, obviously, silly season, but I would have wanted to talk to Robert Saleh a lot more than what they did. But overall, I did a full reaction on it, and I think it was a good press conference. It wasn't a shocker by any means. It wasn't some mind blowing information from start to finish. It was about 30 minutes of okay, we figured, but some good questions were answered. You can conspiracy theory a little bit of the rest of it,
right.
But I think overall, Joe Douglas is being Joe Douglas, and he's holding everything real close to the vest, and I love him for that. I absolutely respect him for that.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm going to finish this up as we take it into the break. The biggest takeaway that I took was if the calls are coming for Sam Darnold, I will answer the phone. And you know what? That says to me that the New York Jets have made up their mind internally that they are going to move on from Sam Darnold. That being said, Joe Douglas is going to hold out for the best possible pick that he can get, or the best possible package that he can get. He can't really mention anything about Deshaun Watson because technically he is still under contract with the Houston Texans, regardless of whatever report comes out, or whatever trade package, or whatever the Houston Texans are supposedly demanding, and all those other ridiculous reports. Stop it. Joe Douglas is not allowed to talk about that. He is not going to, and he's basically so far proven that he can tell you everything, yet tell you nothing through an entire press conference. And you know what? That's my GM. That's what I want to hear out of my GM. Play your cards close to the vest, keep everybody else guessing, and then we'll see where everything lands once the flurry is all done. So just sit back, relax, be patient, stop trying to play armchair GM as to who you think's going where and what trade package you're going to put together or whatever. Let the man do his job the same way that we let Mike McCagnon do his job, the same way that we let John Idzik do his job, Mike Tannenbaum, and every other idiot that came after him. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Otherwise, this is going to be a miserable offseason for you. Believe that.
We're not entitled to the information, the proprietary information, no matter how much we want it as fans. Right? We're not entitled to that stuff. So, Joe Douglas is who he is, and I love who he is, man.
We're not entitled to make it up whole cloth though either. You know what I'm saying? So some of this stuff is just come on, man, cut it out.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, Mr. Kevin Jackson is going to take us into the white hot spotlight with his next segment over there. The very interesting. I'm very interested on his candidate for the White Hot Spotlight this week. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about salary cap and much, much more. Plus, we're going to finish today with a game. The game of quarterbacks, I will call it. And that's the tease that I'm going to leave you with. So, we will be right back after these commercial messages. You are listening to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, and Snowman Digital Media.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What's going on, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, and Snowman Digital Media. CJ the Painkiller D. Simone here. On the other side of the glass, Kevin, Mr. Spotty Blackman Jackson on the other side, and also reporting live from One Jets Drive. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed is that he is not inside Joe Douglas's office. Mr. Jimmy the Reaper Jardine.
I've already copied the key, guys. I've already copied the key.
So he's
flying the wall.
So he's about to sneak in somehow, some way. Really quick, I want to go through all of these comments over here. Shout out to everybody who is tuning in tonight. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys so much.
On fire tonight.
Bill Robinson, Michael Lagaris, Frank Ingaglia, Matthias Simon, Rockaway Archie, Clarence Nixon. Shout out to him. Okay. Justin Menga was a little bit in the comments before. Kyle Kloiber, otherwise known as Speedy P. Shout out to Michael Theodore Smith, who's watching. Mr. Lou Riv, and everybody else who's tuning in. We got a bunch of people popping in the comments. Just really quick, I don't have the time to go through all of them, but I do want to get a couple. Rockaway Archie's package, best package Joe can bring us, is number 2 overall, future first, future second. Sam Darnold, Nathan Shepard for Deshaun for Deshaun Johnson.
That's a name.
So, Deshaun Johnson, what does he play? So does he play in the AAF? So CFL 2. So what about the AFL 2? So does he play in that? So what you call it? Bill Robinson. I'm getting old also. Let's hope we can get it right now. Shout out to Garen Brower Jr. Great show. Thank you again for tuning in. There's just way too many comments to name, but thank you again. Keep the comments in. We're answering them as they pop in.
Being interactive today, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
appreciate you guys.
We definitely appreciate it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Mr. Kevin Jackson to take us in the spotlight.
With Kevin Jackson.
Spotlight.
Kevin, you have a very special person in tonight's in the spotlight, so go for it.
Let me get myself comfortable for this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, the spotlight is going to shine on somebody who I think is kind of relevant to some of the conversations that we've been having tonight, and that is our current offensive line coach and running game coordinator, John Benton. All right. Now, not a huge name, not a superstar name, not a superstar talented player, but in a lot of some of the discussions that we've been having revolving around Sam Darnold, we've talked about how bad the offensive line has been. We talked about how much that he was impacted by that, how much his game was impacted by not having an offensive line, and understanding this guy, John Benton, and who it is that he is and what it is that he brings to the table. 30 years or over 30 years of coaching experience. We're going to get into the numbers here in just a minute, but I'm just going to be honest. I think this is something that you guys, when you have a moment, go take a look, because he's got a video on YouTube. And I watched this a couple of times, actually. It's called Wide Zone Coach Benton Cool. Okay. It's about an hour and a half, but literally it is a clinic. And he is schooling guys on offensive line. And we're talking about a coach who is teaching other coaches. Okay. So this is the guy who we have that's going to be running the show with regards to who's coaching and developing our offensive line, who's actually coming up with our running schemes. A lot of technical stuff in this video. So for the folks who don't necessarily get into the X's and O's as much, you can expect to learn quite a bit. And if you're still going to be pissed off about Sam Darnold not being here, at least try to be knowledgeable about what it is that you know. So let's take a look at the video. But first and foremost, John Benton was actually an all WAC conference player at Colorado State University back in the day. Not only all WAC conference in his junior and senior year, but as an all academic team as a senior as well. So we're talking about a really smart guy who knows how to play football, or I guess vice versa, a really good football player who's also ends up having to be a smart guy. Has been in coaching since 1987, boys and girls. Some of you guys were even around then. You know what I'm saying? Graduated. Hold on, right? I kind of let me not forget our audience. Colorado State, he's a grad assistant, 87 through 89. California University of Cal, where our Ashton Davis is coming from in 1990 to 94 as a recruiting coordinator. So he's got some of that skill also. Colorado State again at 95 to 2002, and then actually got called up to work on the St. Louis Rams 2003 to 2005 when we started to see the end of that greatest show on turf come in. And if I'm looking at this correctly, as his offensive line coach in 2003, the Rams went 12-4 and actually were extremely prolific. And you guys remember those teams and what it is that they were able to put up, the type of offense they ran there. This guy was an architect of a lot of that stuff, working side by side with Mark Martz. Houston Texans from 2006 to 2013, where they had some questionable talent there also, but there was still some decent production. If you want to go take a look at some of that as well. Miami Dolphins 2014, 2015. I shot at an opportunity to kind of do something there, and I guess I'm not going to say it didn't work well, but he ended up moving on to Jacksonville Jaguars in 2016, and I think he did that because he was going with Malzahn and those guys at the time. Part of that coaching tree and part of that lineage. And then since 2017, he's been with the 49ers. And we've seen what the 49ers have been able to do with that Shanahan-style offense. And I'll just be honest, that team being decimated by injuries, and they were still able to kind of make some things happen. There are a lot of techniques involved in what it is that the offensive line does. And John Benton is an extremely talented coach who can teach those things, who has great ideas about leverage and control and how it is that, you kind of position yourselves. And a lot of what it is that we saw with our offensive line last season was guys being out of position, guys not understanding their roles, their responsibilities, guys just whiffing and not being alert, not being, recognizing their surroundings and things of that nature. I don't believe that we'll see that under this guy, John Benton. And I mean, look, it's an extremely important position that maybe no one talks about. We don't talk about the offensive line as much because if those guys are doing their jobs, then why shouldn't we talk about them? They're doing their jobs, and the only time that you really recognize them is when they screw up. Now we've got some guys that we recognize because I have weight. I'm really having problems hoping that they don't have weight concerns because they're pancaking guys all game, and we don't want anybody being 420 pounds as a left tackle, if you feel me. So, look, John Benton's in the spotlight tonight, guys. We can discuss X's and O's, we can discuss numbers, but also I wanted to say that we're bringing in a veteran guy who knows exactly what it is that he's doing, and as part of this staff, I think it's going to be a really integral part of being able to replace what it is that has been a criminally under-addressed, neglected position for years. And we actually have a really competent guy who has more experience than I can imagine than quite a few guys that we could have actually brought in. Another A1 choice by Robert Saleh, and another thing that gives me even more confidence in the fact that this is not your same old Jets, guys. We're watching it. I'll say it this way: we're watching something being built that we haven't seen being built this way. Right.
It's actually being built the right way.
Correct.
Right.
Really simple.
But the thing is that look, and I'm going to jump in. I'll take the baton from you a little bit. Just basically, we as Jet fans, we're not used to things being built the right way. We're not used to an actual foundation being laid down and being built upon. You know why? Because we've been screaming and pounding the desk for instant gratification. We want all the shiny new toys in free agency, and then we get all aggravated and pissed off when nothing works and the Jets end up going 3-13. Okay? So we need to practice a little bit of patience because we actually have a GM here that wants to build this team for 2 words. Say it with me, guys. Competitive Sustainability. Okay? I preach it every friggin' week here on Weapons Hot. Okay? And it's not one of those things that gets built overnight. It's one of those things that has to get built brick by brick, piece by piece, and move by move. Plain and simple. So, the fact that we actually have an offensive line coach that's going to assist in getting these guys playing together, whoever we're bringing in. I know I'm seeing a lot of guys in the comment go in there and get Joe Thuney. Scott Gillespie just joined the chat. It's about time. Where the hell have you been?
Come on, Scotty.
So the only other time this team was built correctly was when Parcells ran the team. Yeah, it's the truth. Okay, so now we're trying to go back to that. We're trying to go back to kind of, in order for us to look to the future, we kind of have to look to our past a little bit. See the things that worked and see the things that didn't work. And this is what Joe Douglas is doing. So he knows what needs to happen for this team to be successful. So let him do the work. Let him do whatever it is that he's got to do. And like I said before, I would much rather trust him with $90 million in cap space than trust Mike McCagnon or any other idiot out there. So
100%.
Right.
So Jimmy, talk to me.
So I love the spotlight. Like having the leader, the coach, the guy to build that, the experience. Yeah, it's like the success in Miami wasn't there. But hey, that's the experience.
He was only there for a year.
But that's valuable, man. You don't better yourself through nothing but success. You better yourself through adversity, through losing, through making those mistakes, through making bad decisions. That's how you better yourself. And it's absolutely a great hire for the New York Jets at a position of need, quite frankly.
Definitely.
And I think that the biggest thing, and I see the chat talking about Thuney. Let me put a hot take in here for you guys. I would rather take Corey Linsley at center than Joe Thuney at guard.
I'll be honest, I'll take it.
We're going to save $8 million going that route. Connor McGovern has been a I can't say very good. He has been a serviceable guard. We can slide him over. We draft a guard. And you now have the guy to lead that unit into the future.
We have Cameron Clark, who I'm really interested to see his development.
Put him in the game, man. Put him in the game. I want, like, Joe Thuney, or you can't deny that the guy is probably one of, if not a top two best guard in the NFL right now.
Sure.
And just I know we changed subjects, but just a thought about how we got Sam. We traded those 3 second-round picks to get him to the Colts, and the Colts picked up Quentin Nelson, left guard. And that kid, if he stays healthy, which is looking to be, that's a Hall of Fame guard.
Hall of Fame character, yeah.
So that was one of the guys they picked up with our pick. Just saying. But we need a leader on the offensive line, and Corey Linsley is that leader. He touches the ball every single play. He knows what an offensive line needs to do. He knows how to look at a defense pre-snap and tell and direct that O-line. He can be an absolute elite quarterback of an offensive line. And you get him for about $8 million less, maybe $6 to $8 million less than you would get Joe Thuney, and you still shore up the interior of the line. You know what I mean?
You replenish what has been for us a necessity on the offensive line, and you put in the center position a guy who is again an extension of the quarterback in particular. I mean, we've had great success when we've had dominant centers. When we had Nick Mangold, when we had Kevin Mawae, when we had going back to all of those guys that really kind of were the anchors. Yeah. I think Linsley, comes in and as another guy in that role, in that vein, in that spot, no question.
Yeah, I mean, I want another Nick Mangold. Why wouldn't we?
Who wouldn't?
Like, that's what we need. I just want a leader on the offensive line, and I think our offensive line is much better than people gave credit for. They actually made progress under the coach that shall not be named in 2020. Like, they made progress, and when you have a guy who has no idea what he's doing at the helm of a football team, and your offensive line can get together and be like, look, guys, this is what we need to do. The offensive line made the adjustments and made the changes amongst themselves that our quarterback needed to make amongst himself. Like, the offensive line saw what was happening, saw what was wrong, and they got together and fixed it. Like, fixed it in terms of, it's all relative, but compared to what they were before, compared to what the unit was before, they did better. Fant is a huge example of that. Connor McGovern is another huge example. Alex Lewis, brother, I hope you get the help you need, my friend.
Yeah.
And much love.
Our guards, man. I look, the interior of our offensive line, those guys. Yeah, I'm not gonna say Elfline came through and was balling hard, but I think he matched a little bit of nasty in there playing next to Becton, man. I think that he's definitely a guy I think we should re-sign, man.
I 100% agree. I think Elfline he took the situation of him sitting next to Becton as a challenge.
An advantage.
He took it as a challenge. He's like, well, they're not going to get through that guy. No, I can't let them get through me.
Right, and that's what we need. So
yeah, totally.
Scott Gillespie chimed in a couple again. Great to have you back, man. I'm sorry you were so busy, but we're glad to have you back. Go and draft one of the guards. You could sign another guard and one of the 3 plug-and-play centers coming out in the draft. They'll play for the next decade for some teams. Matthias Simon chiming in. Joe Douglas knows offensive line. He will take care of that this season. I really think, personally, that the New York Jets need to take a page out of the Buffalo Bills book when a couple of years ago, when they completely retrofitted their entire offensive line.
$70 million.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we don't need to spend that much, but you know what? If you go get me a Linsley, you go get me a Thuney, it definitely helps out. Then you go and you draft some guys for depth and have them learn behind these big Molly, go and have them learn behind the big Mog Hollies up front. Then why not? Just create an impenetrable green wall.
Yeah, give me a Deontay Brown from Alabama.
Please. Lord
get me a Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma.
That
Get
dude
me
is a side of beef.
From Ohio State.
Yeah. Wow.
Sign Linsley. Sign them both. Sign them both if you can, Joe Douglas. Sign Linsley and Thuney.
Here's another one. Go get the center for Ohio State. Get him from a school that you have to have a brain in order to play.
Yeah.
I love it, Scott.
Ohio State is like it's like a programmed system.
Right. So
the kid's a beast, though. Let's not get it twisted.
100%. I'm not taking anything away from you.
Right. And Scott, we're not looking for these guys to jump into flaming tables like the Buffalo Bills fans like to do at their tailgates. No, that's not a prerequisite.
Where's Mike and Keith at the Hill people? Right.
Right. Exactly. So we don't need to do what the Hill people do. Okay. The only thing that I want, I just want them to come here and to play, protect our quarterback, whoever that quarterback may be. All right.
I'm just saying, being drenched in mustard protects you from those tables. Like, that's proven. Isn't it? It's proven, right?
I need video.
Oh man,
I need to see it.
Yes, there has to be some sort of video that we can actually put. So that's going to be your mission. Somebody got to find me a video. We'll post it on the Weapons High Facebook page, and we'll go from there. All right,
we have to play it after dark, man.
Right, exactly. All right, guys. So now, really quick, I want to talk about the salary cap. We talked about it here. Now, right now, as it currently stands, Jacksonville Jaguars have the most cap space at $85 million. The New York Jets are hot on their heels with $82 million as of right now. The New England Patriots are right behind us with $72 million. Washington football team with $58 million. Indianapolis Colts with $50. Cincinnati Bengals with $47. Carolina with $37 million. The Miami Dolphins with $36 million. The Broncos with $35 million. The Houston Texans with $33 million. The Los Angeles Chargers with $32 million. San Francisco 49ers with $28 million. Baltimore Ravens with $26 million. Dallas Cowboys with $25 million. And the Cleveland Browns at $24 million. So now, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, we talked about the salary cap and we talked about that there are some teams in cap hell. All right, and I want to give you some examples. Minnesota Vikings, they're just about almost out of it, I think, with the cutting of Kyle Rudolph. They're about $2,000, actually $2 million over the salary cap. The Chicago Bears, $2.5 million over the salary cap. Green Bay Packers, $5 million, actually $5.8 million over the salary cap. Atlanta, this is where it really starts getting hairy. Atlanta, $15.1 million over the salary cap. Kansas City, $18.4 million over the salary cap. The Los Angeles Rams, $29.6 million over the salary cap. And last but not least, the New Orleans Saints, $43.9 million over the salary cap. So there hasn't been a lot of cuts coming out so far. Really, the only notable name has been Kyle Rudolph. The Buffalo Bills actually re-signed Micah Hyde. It bolsters their secondary. There are going to be a few more cuts that are coming up. So, granted, today's March 7th. Okay, by March 9th, these teams have to be under the salary cap. That is the drop-dead date before everything starts rolling over into the new free agency period. So, these next 48 hours are going to be completely ridiculous with the amount of people that are going to be getting cut. The Jets already cut Henry Anderson. I expect more people to be cut, like Brashard Perriman ain't coming back. So, there's a lot of people are still talking about Jamison Crowder getting cut. We actually had some debate about that on last week's show in regards to that. I still don't want to cut Jamison Crowder. He's been our most productive receiver, and I'm still a proponent that you want to add talent, and not just replace talent. So,
I just don't. I don't think that's a smart move. I really just don't think that's a smart move. As much as we want to be, these cap kind of, prognosticators and all of that, you don't get rid of your best talent, over what amounts to be peanuts, especially when you have, top two cap space in the league currently, and looks like you quite possibly could be number one if you do kind of get rid of some of the guys that are dead weight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to get your thoughts about the salary cap. Jimmy, I know you're the numbers guy, so talk to me. What are your feelings on this?
I've been in a Facebook battle about this. It was mostly wrapped around the Deshaun Watson thing.
It was funny though.
But I'm glad you read that because
it was funny though.
Brother, I took that dude to school.
Killing him, Jim. It was funny. It was good.
This guy's trying to tell me that Deshaun Watson is going to be way too expensive, despite the fact that he's only $10 million for 2021. But as far as the cap is concerned, the New York Jets have close to a rolling $100 million average over the next 3 years, based on comprehensive projections of where the cap is going to go. So, for 2022, they're talking about the cap being $209 million compared to the $180 million that it is this year. That's a gigantic increase after a really bad COVID year, guys. But it is reasonable. With the brand new TV deal, you can almost put that $209 million as the floor. You can almost guarantee that. Okay, so teams are going to get a piece of that. So the cap is going up. The Jets will have tons of cap space moving forward. Tons. We can do what we want. We can front load contracts that we want to front load. Just a little tangent. That's why you should give Marcus May 4 years, $60 million, $15 million per, guarantee him $35 million, give him a $13 million signing bonus so that he doesn't affect the 2021 cap. But I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I'm going to be challenged on Facebook by these guys that don't do this research. The fact of the matter is, cap space. The Jets fans' mindset is wrong. You're talking about cap space in terms of getting free agents. We only need the cap space to sign and re-sign the talent here. That's what you want it for. You don't want $90 million of cap space. You want to hit your draft picks and extend them. That's what that is for. But some people just sit here and think that we need Allen Robinson when Corey Davis is $12 million cheaper and probably going to be just as good a scheme fit as an Allen Robinson. Wow. People think we have to give Joe Thuney $16 million when you can get Corey Linsley for $12. They think that you have to go sign, what's that kid's name? Aaron Jones from Green Bay?
The running back, yeah.
They think that you have to get Aaron Jones for $15 million when you can get the other Green Bay running back, Jamal Williams, for $8. It's a LaFleur system in Green Bay. Give me Jamal Williams for $8 million over Aaron Jones for $15.
Please.
They don't understand what the cap is supposed to be used for, and they don't understand how the cap progresses. Now, the other factor into going into 2022 is we have Trumaine Johnson dead cap coming off. We have Le'Veon Bell dead cap coming off. We have Quincy Enunwa dead cap coming off. $17 million, like CJ mentioned earlier.
A lot of money for guys that are nowhere near this organization. Bad contracts.
Done.
Bad contracts.
And Joe Douglas doesn't sign those types of contracts. So give the man his trust. The cap is in the Jets' favor, but just stop thinking about the cap in terms of free agency. Start thinking about the cap in terms of keeping talent.
Look, it kind of just a little bit of an idea to kind of relax some of you guys. Just think about this. We got Jordan Jenkins, we got Brian Poole on 1 year, $5 million contracts last season. If you really think that Joe Douglas and his team are not thinking, outside of the box when it comes to how it is that you sign high quality talent, I think you're kind of missing the point of what it is that we saw last season. Really, he solidified what it is that we needed in players that we really wanted to bring back, and he did them on team-friendly deals. Going forward, I wouldn't expect anything different.
So I'm answering Scott Gillespie over here in the comments. So he keeps asking me about the Joe Douglas plan, and I'm trying to reassure him a little bit. He's let me read over the last couple of comments here. Well, let's hope we can hit on some draft picks, and we'll have to pay some of our own talent. And my response to him was, well, that's JD's goal, to develop and maintain our own players, similar to how Baltimore operates, which is exactly how that team continually, every single year, they're always competitive. So he writes back again, are you sure? That doesn't sound right. You must not have been watching the Jets the last 30 years. Yes, I'm hoping. Listen, Scott, you want to know what I'm absolutely 100% sure about? I'm absolutely 100% sure about the fact I'm going to have a bowel movement in the next hour. That's about the only thing I'm sure on. As far as the New York Jets is concerned, I'm hoping and praying. I even pulled the rosary out of the sock drawer for Pete's sake, that Joe Douglas is going to do what he's got to do to help turn this team around. We can hope and we can pray. We've been promised so much. We've been lied to so much. That's why Jet fans always go, go through our own version of PTSD, is because we've been lied to, we've been roped, we've been told so many different things, and it just sucks. So we really just want somebody to just come in. They say they're going to build something. Come in here and build it. And you know what? Hopefully at the end of the day, we could all, sit here and be proud of the product that they're actually building. And we can hopefully, achieve competitive sustainability, which is something I keep preaching over here. All right, so our segment ran a little bit long here. So now we're going to go ahead. We'll move on to our next commercial break. And then when we get back, it is time for the New York Jets quarterback game. And I'm sure that you guys are going to be super excited about that. So sit tight. We'll be right back. You're listening to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, and Snowman Digital Media.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, and Snowman Digital Media. CJ the Painkiller D. Simone here with all of you there on the other side of the glass. Let me introduce you to my squadron who has been with us all night. Mr. Kevin Spotty Blackman Jackson, and Mr. Jimmy the Reaper Jardine, parked right outside of One Jets Drive. He's already. He's already. He's got the key. He's ready to jump into the war room. He's all ready to go, kids. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna play a little game tonight. It's called the quarterback game, and you know what? The New York Jets have had a lot of them. I got a whole list here of New York Jets quarterbacks. Okay, all the way back from the days when they were the New York Titans, with names like Al Doro and Dick Jameson and Johnny Green and Lee Grossup and Butch Songin. Okay, who actually started 2 games. Okay, then Joe Willie Namath.
Riggins.
I'm getting me a Mark Gastineau Titans jersey. It's happening.
That's beast mode. That is beast mode.
So,
get that sack exchange going.
Yep. So basically, the New York Jets since 1968, 69, when they won their last Super Bowl championship in Super Bowl III. Okay.
When we landed on the moon.
Right. We landed on the moon, and milk we found out was actually blue instead of pink. So, and ladies' underwear came in all different shapes and sizes, and hey,
thank you, Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. So,
Peru.
You know what? Actually, believe it or not, we are 10 years away from that because
I know, right?
Which was funny because the Jets won Super Bowl III, which ultimately led to the AFL NFL merger, in which they fully became the NFL. And most of all, shout out to Bob Lederer. Go read his book, Beyond Broadway Joe. Awesome book. So the Jets have gone through a plethora of different quarterbacks. Let's see, in the 70s, Richard Todd, Matt Robinson, Pat Ryan, and then, of course, rookie Ken O'Brien. Ken O'Brien, who was the quarterback for quite a while, up until 1992. Fighting it out with David Norrie. Let's see, Tony Eason, Kyle Mackey. Okay, so the list goes on and on and on. So, courtesy of BleacherReport.com, they actually printed out their top 24 New York Jets quarterbacks of all time, not named Joe Namath. So now what I'm going to do is, my 2 co-hosts over here, they're going to tell me who they think the top 5 are, in no particular order.
Wow.
Okay? And I am actually going to sit here and tell them whether they are right or whether they are wrong. So...
Oh, this is easy. At least for at least for a couple, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to say Kenny O'Brien. Got to say Richard Todd.
I love Kenny O.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would say maybe Vinny. Kind of throw in there because Vinny did some things. The AFC championship game. The whole
Save
thing.
it for the game.
All right. So then, you know what? Since Kevin's already spitting some fire over here, giving his stuff, we'll give him the opportunity to go first.
Now you're gonna give him to go first? Come on, man!
I jumped in, man. What can I say?
Dude, this is like you know that guy. He's that guy. He's got the swimmers. He's got the little donut. The flippers. He got the goggles on with the snorkel, and he's getting ready to jump into the kiddie pool. That's what Kevin's doing right now.
Right. And I'm just going to say, look, I kind of got an idea, of where we're going to go with this, but only because those are the guys that really had any modicum of success here. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right. So, pick 5.
Browning Nagel. I'm not going to say Browning Nagel. That's for damn sure.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, basically the 3 that I've said so far: Ken O'Brien, Rich Todd, Vinny. I guess questionable if we're going to throw Brett Favre in there. I don't necessarily know if I would consider that part of a season that he was here, as a qualifier. Didn't actually make it the full season. But
1-year quarterbacks for us. Like Brett Favre, but
but I wouldn't go there. Boomer had a little bit of success, even if it was just a little.
I like Boomer.
Yeah, I mean, I like Boomer when he was here, man. He brought an attitude.
All right, so you're just throwing out names. Give me 5.
All right,
give me your 5.
You said not named Joe Namath, right?
Not named Joe Namath. Nope.
And this is all time now. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Ken O'Brien, Richard Todd, Vinny Testaverde, Chad, and you know what? Because I hate to say it, but Six Picks Trap. I gotta say, Ryan may be up there because he set a lot of records here.
Pat Ryan.
Come
on, man, pick one.
I can't say Fitzy. I don't want to say.
Come
Fitzy.
on, man, just say Fitzy.
Yeah, I have to say Fitz. I gotta say. Fitz.
Okay, Fitz.
Yeah, that hurt my heart to say that, man.
I can see.
I'm the struggle is real. Like I'm sweating. Like.
All right. So, for the record, for those of you keeping score at home and in the chats. So, by the way, shout out to Louis Gahn, Scott Gillespie, Ernest Sell, everyone who is jumping in here. Matthias Simon. All right. So, Kevin's top 5 was Ken O'Brien, Richard Todd, Chad Pennington, Vinny Testaverde, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Lock it in. Okay, Jimmy, your turn.
It's without knowing the metrics of what you're going for.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to go 1 through 5.
Okay. No particular order. Just.
I like Vinny. I like Vinny. I don't like because he's kind of a jerk right now, but Mark Sanchez has to be up there. Sanchez has the best playoff record for the Jets.
It was him or Fitz. I kind of
Chad Pennington is right there at number 3. Kenny O is not in. There's no possible way there's a top 5 without Kenny O.
Exactly.
And I really want to say Fitz, but I saw how hard that was for you.
I'm passing a stone saying Fitz.
It's like
Richard Todd, I guess, would be round out my top 5.
So who is it?
Richard Todd.
I can't stand Fitz.
All right. So Jimmy's picks.
Yeah, I can't stand
Vinny Testaverde, Mark Sanchez, Chad Pennington, Ken O'Brien, and Richard Todd. Locked in.
I should have said Mark instead of Fitz. I would have felt more comfortable.
What's the metrics, CJ? What's the metrics?
Listen, there are no metrics over here. This is just pick 5 guys.
So let me explain where I'm coming from here.
Okay.
My explanation is who wins games for the New York Jets.
Okay. Well,
I've done research. Obviously, I'm not gonna go unprepared. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm about to give you guys the top 5. Okay? Again, courtesy of BleacherReport.com. Okay. So let me just go ahead and get some. There we go! At number 5!
Working.
Mark the Dirty Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen!
At number 5?
Really? At number 5. Yep, years as Jets quarterback from 2009 to 2011. Record as a starting quarterback, 27-20. And, of course, obviously, New York Jets playoff, the all-time playoff leader with wins and so on.
4-2.
Right.
4-2, right?
Yep. And at number 4... Richard, don't call me Todd. Record as starting quarterback. He was actually quarterback from 1976 to 1983. Record as starting quarterback 42-51-1. All right.
I'm gonna pull this up too. 1 second.
All right.
Go ahead.
Now, time for number 3. Ken, the Philly O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen.
He's at 3, though?
He is at number 3. Yep, years as Jets quarterback from 1984 to 1992. Record as starting quarterback, 50, 55, and 1. Yes, he takes the number 3 spot, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Coming in at number 2. Chad, don't call him Mr. Pennington.
Go with that.
Years as Jets quarterback, 2000 to 2007. Record as Jets starting quarterback, 32 and 29. And now, for the number 1 quarterback, not named Joe Namath.
I think I know it.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Come on.
This is the guy who is the big schmoozle. And here we are. Mr. Vinny Testaverde.
Oh, I was about to say, it better not be Dan Fitz. I was giving,
that sigh of relief. Flip it, Matt.
Slap my whole laptop on the table, just run like.
Kevin had the worst case of post-traumatic stress disorder ever videoed, ladies and gentlemen. So you want to know the funny thing is go rewind this segment and just look at Kevin's face where he basically was like, all for about a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, you like it's bad news, and I'm just like, it better not, damn it, better not.
Years as New York Jets quarterback for Vinny Testaverde, 1998 to 2003, and also again in 2005. Record is starting quarterback, 35 and 26. Yeah. Most notable notes, in 1998, Testaverde took over for Neil O'Donnell and led the Jets to a 12-4 record. Testaverde was 12-1 as a starter, with his only loss coming to Peyton Manning in an exciting 24-23 game at Indianapolis. All right, so those are your top 5. Now,
Vinny
going back to the
has,
guys that you guys picked, okay?
Vinny also has the highest win percentage of any Jets quarterback, including Joe Willie.
Well, Joe Willie was, look.
So, and Scott Gillespie actually jumped into the comments over here, and he wanted to know, you mean Petty isn't going to make the list? How could it be?
Matthias Simon Hackenberg?
For the comic relief. All
right, so let me tell you guys where Fitzpatrick is actually
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I really don't care.
I don't.
Sure you do. Of course you do. Why not? Well, add to the aggravation of the disorder here.
Right.
All right.
It actually goes into what I was saying earlier.
Where's Rick Myrer?
It actually goes into what I was saying earlier with when are we going to be done with being okay with good enough? Because if we're sitting here talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, honestly, if we're talking about German, I love Josh McCown. Probably one of my favorite Jets quarterbacks in my lifetime.
We like the guy, man.
I love him, and I loved him as a quarterback too. But I'm not okay anymore with the Jets having good enough at the most important position in sports. Period. I want elite. I want 12, 13, 14 wins every year from now on. That's what I want, and I'm not unreasonable in wanting that.
No, not at all. So just for the names. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not on this list, Kevin, so you could actually breathe a sigh of relief.
That was my ploy to win the round because I wanted to push Kevin into an answer he didn't want.
Yeah, right.
So, but however, Kevin did mention Boomer Esiason. Boomer Esiason was actually ranked number 6. Was number 6 on this list. You both actually mentioned Richard Todd. And
I think my 2. I think I was 2 off. I think.
Richard Todd. You know what? Richard Todd is actually not on this list, which is actually disappointing.
Matthias Simon, let's add Zach Wilson to this history.
Please. Oh no! Actually, I'm sorry. Richard Todd is number 4, so we got that. We actually mentioned that. I do apologize.
Wait a minute. I thought I heard his name. There's no way.
Let's see some honorable mentions. Pat Ryan, we talked about. Pat Ryan is number 8. Brett Favre is number 7.
Hell, I'm in the top 10, and I never dressed for a game.
Right. Yeah, he gets a funny face for that one. Ernest Sell jumping in with Geno Smith. Where is he now? He's probably still thinking that the Earth is flat. So who the hell knows?
Does he really? Is he a flat earther?
Yes, he is.
I think he is.
He is a flat earther. Like, seriously.
So Rick Meyer actually, Kevin brought up a little bit. He's actually 14th on this list.
You got to be kidding me! The guy's a scrub.
Yep, and right behind Rick Meyer.
What?
Right, and right behind Rick Meyer is somebody who Scott Clusby actually brought it up in the comments, and you guys actually both talked about it for just a split second, Mr. Browning Nagel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't talk about Browning.
If any of those bums made this list, man, come on, guys. We need to do better.
There's one name that I'm surprised that nobody mentioned, Ray Lucas, and he made number
really
10.
Like Ray. But I was trying to be, I was trying to be objective here. So,
I went win percentage. I went win percentage because if we're talking best, like I said, who wins games? Now, who wins games more than they lose games? So obviously, my guy Vinny, 100% up there, and there's only 3 quarterbacks that actually have an above
a winning percentage,
100 win percentage, like a winning percentage. And that's Sanchez, Pennington, and Vinny Testaverde.
We named them all, right?
Yeah, and pretty much, actually, Jimmy is the winner of the game.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because Kevin actually selected Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Because I said Fitz.
Because he picked Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the reason why was, that was it 2013 season, I guess, where where he put up all of the records and all of that, and I didn't. Again, I wasn't sure of the criteria. Or 2015, excuse me. Where he put up all of the records. I mean, we had Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker basically killing the game that year, and I just wasn't sure if it was gonna, if that was gonna put him, in a certain category, because the following year, obviously. I'm so sick of. I can't even believe I allowed Ryan Fitzpatrick into my head this season.
So Scott Gillespie is now officially trolling you, Kevin. He said Fitzpatrick, you had a better chance of putting up my name.
the guy threw what 32 touchdowns. Isn't that a record? What's the record for touchdowns in the season now?
What for the Jets? I believe it is still held by Vinny. I want to say it's held by Vinny. So, Jimmy, you're the step,
right?
I think so. Yes.
And Vinny only played 13 games in '98.
Yeah.
But he also
12-1.
Yeah, he won 12-1. So, but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our game for New York Jets quarterback, the quarterback game. So I just thought it would be funny to kind of talk about it because here we are as New York Jet fans. We are now looking at staring down the barrel of yet the prospect of having yet another quarterback underneath center. And to follow up on Jimmy's point, which is something that I absolutely loved, it is time for us to want to start. Good enough is not good enough. So
100%.
Yeah, so I want to follow that up. So we'll go around the room really quick, final thoughts, and then we'll wrap this up.
31, Kevin. 31.
It was 31.
All right. So, Mr. Deshaun Wilson Fields Jr., you kick it off, and then we'll swing it around to Reaper.
Okay. I'm going to really make this kind of short and sweet because I think everybody knows I have a tendency to be long-winded. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We're in a position right now that we have really never been in. And I'm excited about having this opportunity. I'm excited about where it is that we stand as an organization. I really wish that as a fan base, we could kind of turn the corner a little faster. But I do think that some of us are coming around. So kudos to you guys that are thinking progressive. Kudos to you that are willing to allow this process to take place. Silly season is going to be wrapping up here within the next couple of weeks. We're going to get to that legal tampering period, and we're actually going to start seeing some actual factual moves instead of all this clickbait junk that actually it makes my agita, it just makes it itchy. So You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I'm ready for that to be gone. I'm ready for that
Temple
to be done.
massages.
You know what I'm saying?
abundant.
I look, next week I'm gonna have a T-shirt that says "Woo Sao" on the front of it because some of this stuff, man, I'm just so oh man, I'm so sick. Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I say it all the time. I know it's difficult to ask for patience because we've been so bad and because we've been asked for patience for so many different times. I know we kind of loosely use that term. The most impactful off season, but I think all of that stuff kind of falls into exactly where it is that we need to be in this moment right now, where it is that we are right now. And I'm just gonna say I'm excited, man. It might not show on my face as much, but inside I'm jumping up and down. I'm doing cartwheels and backflips because I really do feel like what it is that we're watching happen right now is that path to laying the foundation to what's the term, CJ?
Competitive sustainability.
You feel me? So that's exactly what it is that I'm expecting that we're going to see. I know as Jets fans, it's difficult to have expectations, but I think this is probably the time where I feel the most confident in having them.
All right, Reaper, fire away.
So first and foremost, I do want to thank everybody in the chat, everybody that's participating in this show. It's been one of the biggest honors in my social media and streaming life to be on this show with Kevin and with CJ. I can't thank you guys enough for giving me this opportunity. It's allowed me to open up my own branding. So again, follow Weapons Hot. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We're going to be having some content coming up really fast. CJ will talk about that at the close.
After dark, man.
Check out Jets by Jimmy on YouTube as well. We're about 34 away from hitting 100. And my first 100 subs on there. So definitely, if you like what you see from us on here, just follow the channels, and we definitely appreciate that. As far as what we're looking at moving forward, guys, I'm normally a humble person, but when there's one area where I'm not humble, and it is my takes and my research and my knowledge of the front office side, the business side of football, the cap side, the free agency, the draft. I research this hours upon hours every single day. I dive into absolutely everything New York Jets business, and I know what I'm talking about. And in the Facebook comments, you may see me in there, and you may see me being a little bit forceful. You may see me being a little bit arrogant, and that is because of that research, because I know what I'm talking about. And I try to bring you guys some actual factual knowledge of how we're moving forward. And I won't back down from that. And I pride myself in knowing how the Jets should proceed. Whether you think I'm just some random name, some small-time guy on the internet, or whether you hear what I'm saying or not. It's just the way I am. And all of it stems from that I want the best for this team. I'm tired of... Well, Sam has flashes. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of flashes. I'm tired of snippets of good things with this team. I'm tired all around, not just at the quarterback. I'm tired of, well, Brashad Perriman did have that one really good route against that one team. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. There is no reason that we as Jets fans should accept mediocrity anymore. There's no reason for it. There's no reason we can't expect an absolute legit elite number one wide receiver. There's no reason we should accept anything less than an elite number one quarterback. There's no reason that we should accept anything less than an elite edge rusher. God, give me a freaking edge rusher, for Christ's sake. It's been 10 years, Jets. It's been 10 years. All I'm saying, guys, is stop settling and expect more from your team. Expect more from the New York Jets. Expect more from ownership. expect more from Joe Douglas. We trust him, but expect more. Hold him to that pedestal. And with that, I'll thank you guys once again, and I'll let CJ round it out.
Look, that pass rusher, oh my God, you pulled the heartstring like almost out of my chest just now. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, normally I would give my final thoughts and so on, but I'm actually going to use this segment because there's a few things that I want to get out there. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who is tuning in to Weapons Hot, our New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, Snowman Digital Media, anyhow or any way you're able to consume us. We really appreciate it. And first off, I want to thank you, every single one of you that I'm looking at right now. This is for you. Every single week, you guys are in the comments giving us great comments and stuff. And we appreciate it. I can't say thank you enough. All right, so we need your help. We need to continue to keep spreading the word. So spread the word to your family, to your friends. Tell them to jump on. We love going back and forth with fans about this team. And again, we're exactly that. We're fans. We don't have inside sources inside the New York Jets organization. I don't have an uncle who's Joe Douglas's landscaper or masseuse or whoever. Okay, we're three guys who read articles. We listen to other shows. We watch ESPN, CBS, NBC Sports, and we get our information the same way all of you do. And we give our own opinion. And that's what we have this platform for. And we thank everyone who listens to us give our opinion every single Sunday night, and also with the addition of Weapons Hot After Dark, which, in fact, will be this upcoming Friday as we have a very special guest joining us. Tune in to social media for details on that. Don't forget to download the app, Worldwide Sports Radio Network for Google Play. You can go download it there for Apple iOS store. Just type in WWSRN or search Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and you'll be able to get the you'll be able to not only consume our show, but the other shows on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network as well. So Don't forget to go to their Facebook page. Don't forget to go to the website, worldwidesportsradio.com, and definitely check out our content. We've got some really cool articles and stuff. Jimmy has a couple of articles that he's put up there. I've put up a couple of articles. We've got some more stuff that's coming rather soon. So also don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. That's the home of Weapons Hot After Dark, where we have some really cool guests, and you kind of get the unfiltered version of this show on YouTube. So we appreciate everybody who likes and follows and the subscribers for that. Help us hit that magic triple-digit number so we can spread the word. Another thing I want to put out there.
On Weapons Hot, by the way, 23 away from 100.
Yeah. So let's get it. Let's get it. So another thing that I also want to put out there is, there are many different ways to consume our show. If you do the audio thing, you can go to Sports War Radio, www.spreaker.com/Sports War Radio. You could also catch snippets of us on worldwidesportsradio.com. So plenty of different ways. You could interact with us on Twitter. The show at CNC Jets Factor, you could interact with me at JetsFan0523. Mr. Kevin Jackson at Spotty Blackman. Mr. Jimmy Jardine at Jets by Jimmy. We love going back and forth with fans. We love having debates with fans. And we understand that not everybody's going to agree with our opinions, and we don't necessarily agree with everybody else's opinions. So that's why there are plenty of different things. Scott Gillespie in the comments, I tell you, he's just fired.
Man.
He's just there are many different ways for you to send a top 10 quarterback to the Jets for the Jets a cheeseburger. So if you love me, then where's my cheeseburger? we need a long snapper as most. Shout out to Matthias Simon with a thumbs up. Favorite show. Love you guys. We hope to find you on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.com website and stuff. So there are so many different ways that you could consume the show, that you could catch us. Go out there, be involved. this is really going to be an interesting offseason, and the new league calendar starts this week. If you're not excited about that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Dang.
But so for that, as I've gone ahead and gone a little bit long-winded, and we're just about going to call it a night for this evening, and that's going to do it for tonight here on Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast, here on the aforementioned Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Sports War Radio, Snowman Digital Media. Spotty Blackman has his Jets helmet on. He's ready to go. Jimmy's ready to go. For Kevin, Mr. Spotty Blackman Jackson, Jimmy the Reaper Jardine. Don't forget to check out all of his content as well. I am CJ. Say again?
Oh, I'm sorry. And tomorrow I will be on Green Bean's 10 o'clock mock.
Oh, yeah.
Green
Look,
Beans.
that's quality content right there, man. That's quality content. I've been jumping on myself lately with you guys.
Dude, yeah, it's
quality
I love
content,
it, man. It's been
and you'll know, Jimmy, if you see my comments, I'm like, yo, cornerback and edge rusher, like I'm pushing, I'm pushing hard, man.
So definitely go and check out Jimmy and Green Bean as they do a great job with their mock draft show. Just check out social media for times and the available platforms to be able to stream that. That's actually pretty cool. Green Bean's been a guest on this show. Absolute
get him back.
Class act. Love him to pieces. He does a great job along with the guys from Jets 24/7. So for Mr. Kevin Jackson, Mr. Jimmy Jardine, I am CJ the Painkiller DeSimone, and we are signing off for tonight. We will see you guys when we see you guys. Peace, love, go Jets, and of course, as always, I'm going to leave you with the best chant, still in my opinion, in the National Football League.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.